This video will show you how to create a cornhole board and focus on sketch constraints and on shape. So first, let me show you, this is the dimension drawing of the top of a cornhole board. And in case you forget, cornhole is that game that you play in the backyard and you try to toss bags in through the hole. So to get started, go to Onshape, obviously log in, and then hit create, and you're going to create an Onshape document. Name it your initials, maybe cornhole. And now, of course, the first step is always to create a sketch. So I'm going to click sketch, and I will put it on. Actually, you know what? Let's cross that out. Let's put it on the top plane, since this is the top of the cornhole board we're drawing. And you can either click up here and say top, or I like to hit the N key for normal. And we're going to get started. So I'm going to grab a rectangle. And I like to start on the origin when you're starting a simple sketch. There are other strategies. You might want to put it in the middle of the Actually, let's do that. Let's draw it in the center point rectangle. So what that does is the first point that we place is the center of the rectangle, and then the center of our cornhole board will be in the middle or center of our on-shape part. So if I click this and drag it out, you'll see now that it's the center is the one that's constrained down. And obviously it's going to be much bigger than the dimensions I have here. But you just click, and now you can type in those dimensions. Don't remember what they are. So it is 24 by 48. So you can now type in 24 by 48. You can just start typing and hit enter. You don't have to click on that box. Oops, I put it in the wrong direction. And that's fine. Even if you did the same thing, I'm going to double click on this and say 48. And I'll double click on this dimension, make it 24. And now you'll see it just flipped for us. So that's the outside of the board. Now we need to draw the circle. And I don't remember the size of that one either. So it is 6 inches. And it's important to note that it's in the middle of the board going this way and 9 inches from the top. So I'm going to type 6 in here so that the diameter of the hole is 6. But now I don't have anything else to indicate where it should be. So I'm going to get out of the circle tool. And now I'm going to use what's called a construction line. We've talked about these, but they're like helper lines. So if you click on the line tool and then you toggle this to be a construction line, I'm going to just draw a line across here and have it go from one end to the other, so you can see the constraint coincident is the first one that appears there, and that is because it's saying that when I click down, the endpoint's going to be coincident to that bottom line. So that's great. So now I'm going to hit the L tool to end it, or you can hit escape. And what that did is it allows me to have a line on which I'm going to put the circle. But first, I'm going to say that that line is 9 inches down from the top. So I'm going to click the line and click the top edge of the board. And you don't want this to happen. You want it to just stay in there. And I'm going to say 9. That's great, but now you can see my circle still has nothing to do with that line because we haven't constrained it anyway. So you can move this around, see that you can move it. It's actually not letting me at the moment, but that's not important because what we're going to do is say midpoint. And if you look, if you hover over that, it says it constrains a sketch point to the midpoint of a line. So what that means is you have to pick a point and a line, and it will put that point on the midpoint of that line. So if I pick the center point and this line, you can see that it moved to the center of this line. So what that does is it does two things. Hold on, I'm going to escape from the midpoint constraint. What that does is it puts the center of the circle 9 inches down from the top because the center of that is on the line, and then it also places it across the center of the board since this point is now in the center of this line. So that's it. Now you can hit the extrude tool. And does it tell us the thickness? It does not tell us the thickness of the top board. So let's just assume it's 3/4 of an inch, which is a pretty common plywood thickness. And you'll see that it automatically is picking the surface in the middle. If I hit the green check, it's actually done. And there's the top surface of the board. And that's it. I want to go back into the sketch and just show you that every sketch entity on this sketch is black, which means everything is fully constrained. If something is blue, that means it still needs to be constrained. That's it. You can snip an image of this to turn that in.